Hey, it's Todd Duncan. Welcome to our Sales Mastery End of the Event podcast. We're excited that you guys are here. We've got our Lifetime Mastery Achievement Award winners, Heather Bomar and Brian Bomar with us, and my dear wife, Deb Duncan. Let's get into this. So, guys, welcome to the podcast, and congratulations again for winning. I believe this award is really a cool award, and Deb and I have this massive joy that we got to give it to both of you, the Bomars, Heather Bomar, Brian Bomar, each the 2019 recipients of the Lifetime Mastery Achievement Award. Yes,
and the youngest recipients
ever.
It may never again be broken.
She was still 38 when she got
it. I was like, well, I'm 38. I guess I'm done.
So what's next? We've got this here's what's next. What's next is whatever got you here. You guys got to keep doing it because life has this way of throwing us curveballs and challenges and whatnot. And even though it feels so good to watch you guys as a husband and wife with 4 kids under the age of 10, just crush it, leadership, operations. You're doing so much volume, Heather and Brian, to look at all the LOs that are under your leadership, both of you just knocking out 200 loans a year plus each. It's just, it's exceptional. So I'd like to just capture your comments at the end of the 27th annual Sales Mastery event. You guys have been a part of the fabric for a long time. We've watched you guys take high trust into your market. And so, Heather, let's start with you. What are your biggest observations of the last 4 days? And talk to our listeners, talk to our universe.
I thought it was really inspiring. And I don't know, I just remember being in that seat for the first time, however many years ago, and just getting to chat with so many people because I had just so many different people come up to me and just tell me their story and basically say, actually I had a girl today, she goes, I'm building my iceberg right now. She goes, I just want to build your iceberg. She's like, you've already done all these things. You've followed the plan. I just want to follow that plan too. And so I kind of got to chat with her through that and kind of tell her my path and kind of my story on that. So that was really neat. But hearing that over and over as far as just people, they just have that spark. This has sparked something in them. And they see okay, this is a different way. It doesn't have to be, salesy. It can be based on relationships and high trust, and it's just different.
Yeah.
And they see the difference in that, and so it was really fun to hear that because it was like listening to my younger just starting out self all over again. So
my younger starting off self was 22.
20. I think my first sales master I came to, I was 24.
Wow! Yeah. Wow! That is awesome. It's got to feel great to have somebody say what they said to you, that you have given me the path.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Babe, you had something?
No, for people who don't know Heather and Brian Bomar, why don't you give them a little bit of background of what major rock stars both of these two are really?
So I would say this about Heather and Brian, watching the passion behind, the vision behind, and the discipline behind building something of quality and something that not only impacts literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of consumers, probably on a monthly basis when you look at their entire ecosystem, but watching the commentary from people that trust Brian and Heather as leaders basically say there's no way we would ever be able, nor would we want to leave them. And for me, it's that doesn't happen very often. It's not often that people who have leaders say, I am never, ever leaving this leader. And for me, what that means is that you guys care at the highest level possible. You make doing business easier compared to anybody else that's out there. And that's because of you guys. It's not your company. It's not what state you work in. It's because you guys have created an OS that allows people to do what they are really passionate and paid to do. And I think that's the Brian and Heather I know. I know Brian started very early on with a site visit to one of our, amazing friends, Tim Broadhurst. And I know that kind of started him down that path. And then Heather got into mortgages before Brian did, but Brian was the systems guy and Heather was the mortgage girl. And then they started competing. And then Brian says, you know what, I'm gonna do the ops thing and build the system. And Heather just kept going. And It's just been amazing to watch the impact that you guys have made. Tell everybody just collectively what your team, the whole thing, has done year to date.
Yeah. So we right now we've got 24 loan officers in 3 states, and year to date through we're probably at around 3,000 units for them, and some of those have come on just recently, so that kind of messes up the averages if you're following the math there. But yeah, I think our average, like when you look at month over month, is we're probably averaging about 16 units per loan officer right now, and then in my region total per month, 16 per month. And in the region we've got 24 LOs, but the total team size is about 140. So those 24 loan officers have 116 people supporting them between all the ops staff, and we've got really heavy teams. And when we talk about a team, it's not a bunch of loan officers all doing business and putting it in one person's name. It's all of our loan officers are getting all of their own business, and we're bringing in team members who specialize in one part of the assembly line that handle things at a high level for them to free them up to go focus on going and getting more business, and also having the quality of life, because I've, just being in this industry a lot, you see a lot of people who are financially successful that are not successful in the other areas. And when I see that, I obviously have a lot of empathy when I see that, but it also makes me think, is that success really success if everything else is falling apart? And so it's been really important for me to ensure that the way that we do business, I want to do business at a high level. I want to do a lot of business. I want to do it well. But I don't want to do it in a way that's crushing us, that's killing us, that's stripping all the good out of the other aspects of life.
Boy, that is a takeaway right there, to not do business to the extent it strips away all the other goodness in life. And I think that it's really interesting. One thing, Heather, that you said this week when you were on stage sharing your heart and everything is that idea of full engagement. Can you unpack that for anybody that wasn't at Mastery, the idea that when at work and
Yes. Just when, as a mom of 4 little kids and a wife, I've got these 2 worlds that I'm balancing. And so when I'm at the office, I run really, really hard starting Sunday night. And Sunday night is just me getting my mind ready for the week. I'm not, staying up late. I'm not still watching Netflix. Like, I am following my routine. We're in bed by, 9 o'clock. And then I'm up super early the next morning. Again, this is not for everyone, but I'm up at 4 a.m. and I'm following my routine for the day. And so when I'm at work, I am at work. That's in my zone. I've got my game face on, and that's where I'm at. And then that allows me, when I get home, to fully be at home. When I'm at home, I want to be present. Cell phone in the other room. And as I mentioned on stage, occasionally I break that rule, and I hate it when I break that rule because it's a great rule. And so just to have that separation.
Yeah. I think what's really critical about that is this word concentration, right? And where you are, be there. That's the art of concentration. And it's like we talk all the time in productivity, you can't multitask. Multitasking is, dividing your energy to 2 or more things. And it's like, why would you then try to multitask your relationships? Why would you multitask business and life and try to do both of those at the same time when both get robbed? Right? Business gets robbed of your professional energy, and then off the job, personal gets robbed because of your professional interruption. And so this black and white kind of separation, I don't think a lot of people really understand that you not only can you do that, you should do that, and it is the way to remain emotionally, spiritually, physically, maritally, and financially probably healthy.
Mm-hmm,
yeah,
absolutely.
and it was like watching when Heather said that, it was just like everybody in the audience was, wow, she's up at 4 and home by 2:30, and it was just like, so what struck you, babe, as you listened to Heather and watched this happen?
Well, Heather and I had lunch, I don't know, about a month and a half ago. And so give people an idea of your schedule, like your work week. How many days are you a mom? How many days are you an LO? Because it was really interesting.
Mm-hmm. So this summer, spring, it was a little bit different. Spring, I was really Monday through Wednesday, just hardcore. And Thursday, I was more remote. It was kind of half taking care of, I kind of split the day in two on those Thursdays, and half was taking care of the personal stuff. That way I could be ready for Friday through Sunday with my family. And then half was just taking care of, wrapping up the week, my work week. Once the summer hit, I went Monday through Thursday, and up at 4, morning routine. And I talked about my recent switch where I'm in the office by 5:30 or 6, and that's allowed me to have a really creative, full battery mental space to put towards my most important work. And then once 8 o'clock hits, then I'm already way ahead of the day, and I'm ready for my team. I'm ready for any calls to make. And then between 8 and 12, I want to do all my most important work. And then 12 to 2:30, 2:45, it's going to be more reactive, meaning things I've already scheduled ahead of time that are going to automatically happen because they're already scheduled. And so one-on-ones with my team meetings, might be a partner lunch, things like that. Where the proactive things are going to happen 8 to 12, like partner calls, anything that takes me just doing it. And then 2:45, I leave and go to the gym at 3:15, done by 4:15. And then I get to go home and just be in a good headspace for my kids once it's time for family dinner.
I love it. I love starting the day well. How you start the day has so much to do with how you go through the day. Yeah,
yes.
And I think people need to own that. I mean, Brian, you're really about efficiency. You're really about kind of planning and organization. As Heather's husband and co-parenting 4 kids under the age of 10, and then looking at your LOs and their productivity, what is your contribution to this podcast on just efficiency and owning the day?
Yeah, so we actually had our retreat a week or two ago with all of our loan originators, and one of the things that we talked about was this kind of idea, like hard things. You always want to put off hard things, and so one of the things that we've been working on with all of our originators, it's something that I've just kind of learned through habit, is like when a hard thing comes up, just dive in and handle it, and then be done with it. And of course, there's the book Eat That Frog that kind of encapsulate that concept. But the hard thing's not going to get easier by you putting it off, by you waiting. And a lot of times those are the things that eat up everything. And so we're trying to get people to do the things that they need to do. And that sounds like a simple thing to say, but it's actually, there's a lot that goes into it, because people have all these narratives, they have all these excuses, they've got all of these reasons why they can't just do the thing they need to do. But really it's just hard, and they're avoiding it, they're avoiding the pain, they're avoiding the conflict, the awkwardness of whatever it is. And and for me, like, just how I've learned that is because when you have 140 people on a team, all the easy things are handled. Like, the only things that come to me are hard things. And so if I wanted to avoid them or procrastinate or delay, nothing would ever get done. But so just trying to get people to do that. And then it's kind of weird, but it's related. Stick with me. I really hate waste. I hate waste. And most people that hate waste, they think about it in terms of like leaving the lights on, right? Oh, we're wasting electricity, turn that off. Or you're printing unnecessary paper, you're wasting that paper. And I don't really think about those things. Electricity is pretty cheap. Paper's pretty cheap. I can get more paper and more electricity really, really easily. But I look at some of our loan originators, and I think the value, the immense value, is their life. And I want them to not waste their life. Wow. And so, I don't know what the future holds. I don't know if this industry will look the same in 10 years as it does today. There's a lot of things I don't know, but what I do know is that we have today. And while we have today, let's not waste today because we make excuses and get ourselves involved in all these unnecessary things. Let's actually just do the things that move the needle, and one of the reasons why I love Sales Mastery and High Trust Sales Academy so much is because a lot of times people will hide. Their beliefs tell them that something's impossible, so then they build excuses around those beliefs. And so if we can come in and shatter those beliefs and say, no, these things are possible, it really does work, then they can't hide behind that anymore, and they're exposed. And we had a newer originator in our group just a week ago said, the thing that is kind of creepy about being here is I can't have any excuses because, I funded 4 loans last month, and You know, I've got this originator sitting right next door to me that took 52 prequels last week, you know, and I took 8 last month. And so obviously maybe I'm not that person, but I can definitely be doing more.
You know, I want to take off on something. You know, we ended today talking about seeing the words within the words.
Yeah.
You know, and you look at impossible, and there's 2 things that you can do with that word. The first is just drop the I am. You know, so if we just drop I am, then everything is possible. And the more beautiful thing is, what if we just put an apostrophe between the I and the M and just start saying, I'm possible.
Yeah.
You know, I am possible. My best life is possible. My belief is not impossible. I'm possible. I am the architect of the possibilities of my life. And I just think it's so interesting to see how people let these words stack up and disempower them and infect their mindset. And you guys both have super positive attitudes, and I think attitude is actually the doorway through which everybody achieves their greatness. I think at the end of the day, if you can't see the good in a bad, and you can't see the good in doing what is hard because nobody else will do what's hard, it's virtually impossible for you to achieve your potential.
Yeah, and the thing that you know, like I wake up every day and know that anything that I have that's good, someone else wants, right? And so that's the way the world is. Like if you have something good, particularly in business, someone else wants it. And so you don't get hung up about that. You don't get offended. You just say, okay, I've just got to be better than them. But everything that's good in life comes through struggle. There's no easy ground left. There's nothing easy that's left out there. That you're not going to just have an idea one day, write it down, and you're going to become a millionaire. That just doesn't exist. And so just kind of embracing the pain, embracing the struggle, saying, you know, this is just going to be hard, and kind of change your mindset. Not that it's hard, therefore I'm not going to do it. It's hard, so that is definitely the right way to do it. Because nothing that's left out there that's good is easy. Everything that's good that's out there is hard.
Kind of reminds me of what when we talk about the hard road and the easy road, the hard road's a hard road because it's hard. It's hard to get on. It's hard to stay on. The easy road is the easy road because it's easy to get on, and it's easy to stay on because it's the road of complacency and apathy and excuses and all that we've talked about. I think what's really interesting about hard is anything hard done gets just a little bit easier. Mm-hmm. And we have to understand that the other side of hard is easy. I use the example of learning how to land airplanes. It was really hard. And I landed hard. I landed hard enough where it was like a concern to my instructor. And now, the hard thing, 100 times after doing the hard thing, landing now is very easy. Yeah. So on the other side of hard is easy, but you got to get through the mental barrier to do hard, which is why I love what you've just said. So
yeah, I've got another company I'm involved with, a tech company, and that was much harder than I anticipated. But I talk to the team all the time. I say, today is the hardest it'll ever be. Like it'll still be hard, but it won't be this hard because we'll be better. We'll be a little bit better. We'll be a little bit stronger.
I love that.
A little bit more resources. We'll be a little bit wiser. So today is the hardest it'll ever be, and today's easier than yesterday. As long as you do it, today is the hardest it'll ever be. Like it'll always just be getting a little bit easier because you'll be getting better.
I love it.
So not only are you guys super alpha achievers, there's a great romance here and a great marriage. So talk for a minute about not only how you parent for adorable, wonderful children, but how do you make time for yourself with all the other things you're doing?
First, Brian's my best friend, and it probably sounds cheesy, but I love him more today than I did yesterday. And anyway, all of that. And we're really intentional. I think probably intentionality is probably the key there. We'll make time for probably bi-weekly dates, weekly dates, depending on where we're at. And then, we came early. When we went to Sales Mastery, we came a couple days early just so we could have a little weekend together. Mm-hmm. We have time each night. That's part of our evening routine where we have about an hour just to chat and catch up, and the kids are already in bed. So I think just intentionality. And then you want to comment?
Well, and you mentioned this in your talk, but we also, and we're blessed. We have the resources to do this, but the house is taken care of when we get home. So we're
right.
not, feeding the kids a bowl of cereal while we're doing laundry. Like those things are done. And so when we get home, there's no work left to do. It's only being present with the kids and then with each other. Yeah.
Right.
I just want to say one of the things that came out is if you do the hard things on the job and you are more effective with your production on the job, you should have and must have less off the job stress. It is counterintuitive to think that I would do all of this on the job to be super, super effective, and then I would come home to disarray.
Right.
So the idea of having a business team, and as you said, a home team, and everybody will have the resources at some level to have some help off the job, if you desire it, by being more effective on the job. And you start to look at the pricelessness of time and what you said about wasting life. And we got to take that, as Deb brought up, all the way to you have 4 kids. We have 2 kids. We need to make sure that they don't lose their life. I'm not talking about I guess in some cases you could worry enough about your kids that you don't want them to lose their physical life, but we don't want to have them learn anything other than how to not waste their life ultimately. Now that takes a long time for, kids that are under 10 to understand that. And our kids that are over 20, they're still trying to figure that out. Right. But at the end of the day, you can't be off the job and be present in your personal life unless you have some of those things compartmentalized. And you guys have done that. So great. All right. 60 seconds. Your final thought to the world. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Please.
Oh my goodness, no pressure. Just speaking out there to, I guess, maybe the families and the moms that want to have the balance. You can start small. I didn't start with every perfect thing in place. I started by hiring my first cleaning lady, and then also just mapping out your evening routine with your family. Like, what does that look like? Versus just riding the waves of the day and just things happening as they happen. That's fine for the weekend or whatever, but if you want intentional time with your family and intentional space in your day, I think just mapping it out. What do I want? Just like we map out our business vision and our business plans. When you map it out like that, like you're going to be automatically drawn towards that, and you're going to have much more likely success by doing so. And so just doing that. And then just like little life hacks. Do your online grocery shopping, dry cleaning pickup. Just like little things like that, but that adds up.
It all adds up. It's so interesting to just think, we do that time analysis in the academy, right? And figure out how many hours a week you're wasting on stuff that is not essential in terms of making money for you. You need to do the same thing off the job. What are the things you do, and are you dollarizing the emotional equity that's costing you?
And that's all I did is I just dollarized
that's
my
all
time.
You did. Yeah. Brian, your final thoughts on this whole idea of life, love, liberty, and the Lifetime Mastery Achievement Award?
Pursuit of happiness.
I thought it was appropriate on the award that that we both won it, because I don't think that I would have accomplished nearly what I have without her, and I think that's true.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like we really are a team.
Better together.
She works with her production. I work with now our region, and so we're not like in the same office every day, working on the exact same problems. But it's still we're so much better together. So that's one thing. And then the higher up I kind of grow in leadership. I think that if somebody really wants to get a skill that's going to pay dividends and everything, it's just learning how to lead well, learning to be how to have courage, to show appreciation, to grow in emotional intelligence, to understand the way that their actions and words and responses are affecting their team, to bring the best out of their team, and just creating a healthy culture and a healthy environment where people are excited to come in every day and they're excited about who they get to be a part of. Almost all, I'd say probably 70% of the problems that I deal with anymore just all boil down to people struggling at leading well and then picking up all the pieces that come out of that. And so, just really kind of working on, is, people don't really, there's always exceptions and everything, but for the most part, people don't quit jobs, they quit bosses, right? I also tell people, like, hey, if you think you're leading, just look behind you. If no one's following you, you're just going for a walk. You're not actually leading. And so just growing in leadership skills and becoming the best leader you can. And really, I think of what is leadership? Well, it's really it is casting a vision, but it's bringing the best out of people, getting them to perform at a higher level than what they thought was possible of themselves.
That really starts with the individual. Self-leadership is the most important leadership that there is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So babe, final thoughts?
We love you.
Love you.
You are just such a bright light in the world and in your companies, and we feel blessed to have you as friends. And
yeah. That was big. It was big. It was a good 25-minute chat. And thank you guys in the world of wanting to be your best, for trusting High Trust. Thank you so much for the opportunity to pour into you guys regularly. And hopefully you listen to this a couple more times and share it with the people that you think it'll make a difference in their life. And Brian and Heather, thank you so much for being dear friends and visionary forces and force multipliers in the business.
let's go live.
Let's go live.
Let's go have some fun.
Yes.
Bing, bing, bing.
Thank you,
We're
guys.
out.